This is the Inferno Podcast, the official podcast of UAB Athletics. Blazer fans, this is the place each week to get an inside look into UAB Athletics. This episode of the Inferno Podcast is brought to you by the Alabama Department of Public Health and Pearl River Resort. Welcome into the Inferno Podcast. It's episode 34. Landrum Roberts, I'm your host. As always, the Inferno Podcast is brought to you by our friends at Legacy Credit Union, the official credit union of UAB Athletics. Coming up on today's show, we're going to talk beach volleyball. Delaney Rose in her second year as a head coach of the beach volleyball program at UAB. She's going to be joining us. Already great things happening there on the sand. 18-10 right now as it stands. You got one more duel coming up until the conference championships and then hopefully a berth in the NCAAs in Gulf Shores, which UAB is going to be the host school. Two of her star players, the one pairs, they're really, really good. Jasmine Haas and also Olivia Stant going to be joining us talking about not only the beach game, but plans for the rest of this season. All of that and more. It's the Inferno Podcast, episode 34, as we continue.
Trent Dilfer here, head football coach of the UAB Blazers. I want to tell you about my friends at Legacy Credit Union. Legacy began as University Credit Union in 1955 and remains committed to UAB faculty, students, alumni, and fans. Not only do they support the Birmingham community, but they are also proud sponsors of UAB and UAB Athletics. Visit LegacyCreditUnion.com and find out why you should become a member today.
The Inferno Podcast, Blazer fans, we've made it really, really easy for you. There's a lot of different ways that you can consume this podcast each and every week, and we certainly appreciate you doing that. But you're going to appreciate it because we're going to keep you up to date on everything going on within the athletics program, the green and gold. YouTube, it's pretty simple. At Inferno Podcast UAB, like, subscribe, ring the bell, tell your family about it, your friends, your neighbors, spread it around the office. This thing is going to catch fire, literally. Appreciate you joining us there on YouTube, but also Instagram. You can find us Inferno_pod on Twitter, or the X if you prefer, at InfernoPod_UAB. On Facebook, that's kind of the OG, right? UAB Athletics. You can find it there on Facebook. And, of course, you can go to UABsports.com. We got links. We got all different ways. There is no excuse for you to miss the Inferno Podcast each and every week.
The if in life, it's a world of possibilities. If you go for a night out with friends, if you can keep an eye on your money along the way, if you know you have overdraft protection with no fee transfers from savings, when you get a low balance alert, it's easier to say yes to fun. If that sounds good, try Regions Life Banking.
Stay ready for the if in life. Regions Bank, embrace the if in life.
Welcome back into the Inferno Podcast. Landrum Roberts along with UAB Beach Volleyball coach Delaney Rose. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, we're doing great. You're already through the thick of your season, coming up towards the end of the regular season. You got conference championships. But first of all, let's start with you and your background. Your second full-time year at UAB as a head coach and taking over this program. You guys are already on the cusp of setting records, some of your individual pairs, overall mark. But your background, of course, it's a volleyball background, but you originally hail from Chicago.
Yeah.
Windy City.
Yes. Had to find my way down south, for the warmer weather and beach volleyball. But, yeah.
So you played indoor at Pitt, right? Mm-hmm. And that's where a lot of not only coaches but players get their start, the indoor game. Beach volleyball and how it's grown. And I've witnessed the growth just in the past 15, 20 years, and especially with it becoming an NCAA sport. Why did you choose beach?
Well, that time where I was playing at Pitt, like my senior year, you start to figure out what do I want to do now? And this was that senior year in 2014. athletes were starting to, just go to school for like grad school and get a 5th year and start playing beach volleyball. And it just, honestly, I'd never thought about it, but my coach at Pitt, he was from California. He did a stint on the AVP tour, so he had a whole background in beach, would take us out to beach practices in Pittsburgh. And he was like, I think this would be great for you. And that's just kind of, I was like, all right, like not something I'd ever really thought about because it wasn't big growing up in Chicago and in Pittsburgh. And he kind of planted that seed in my head. And I was like, all right, like, let's do it. I can stay in college a little bit longer, play, a different sport. And it just, that's kind of where it originated from. And I just took off.
When did you realize that you wanted to be a leader of young women and coach the sport?
Yeah, I think it's something that I've always like kind of wanted to do, and then I don't think I realized that I could do this full time as my job because I just after I got my master's and got out into the real world, I guess I had was a school counselor, and I just was always still coaching volleyball. And then a position opened in Florida at a Division II school, like for a part-time job, and I was like, oh, okay, like, let me try this. And then, the full-time position became available, and I was like, oh, I can do this full-time? Like, I love this. So that's kind of where the reality hit, and I was like, oh, this could be not just some side passion, but we could, fully invest and do this full-time.
We continue our Coach's Corner segment presented by Pepsi and Viva Health with UAB Beach Volleyball. Coach Delaney Rose, just being around the sport, for people who have not witnessed it, I would say that beach volleyball has got such a cool vibe.
Yeah.
There's just such a cool vibe. But when you see what the student athletes are doing and trying to cover so much sand, so much ground, if you will, just 2 on each side, describe the differences and the inherent challenges of players going from the hard court to beach.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are frustrated at first because indoor can be very specialized because, there's 6 people on the court. You focus on your position. You're not touching the ball as much. The setter is typically the person in indoor who's touching the ball the most. And then you come out into the beach and you're like, oh, I've got to pass. I've got to set. I've got to hit. And, there's not a lot of hiding because a team can just serve you the whole time. So I think that, there's that mental challenge that's added. And then also just, I think a lot of beach players are the most like well-rounded indoor players because you have to not only do all of the skills, but then you have to be able to run and jump in the sand on an uneven surface. So
you mentioned sands. All sand is not created equal. Just ask the kids from the West Coast that don't play on the sand that we play around. Some of those differences, they can affect a match.
Absolutely. And then let's talk about the wind and the heat and
sun,
the rain,
the rain, and the time that you guys played during that weird transitional part of the seasons. So when you guys are out there, and I'll see you as I'm there on campus doing stuff around football, you guys are training there at the facility on the courts, or you've got just kids just going out on their own and working together. But there's a lot of cold duels that you guys are a part of.
Absolutely. This year it felt like our off season was much hotter than our in season in the spring here. But I think just playing an outdoor sport, it just prepares us for adversity. We start outside here in Birmingham in January and get a little taste of the cold. But, our first weekend was pretty cold down in New Orleans. So I think just being prepared for all of the elements and how to adapt. And I think that's a big thing in beach volleyball is just like being able to adapt, whether it's, schedule changes, weather, you name it. But that's the name of the game. Which team can adapt better? Still
plenty of goals that you and your team want to accomplish this season. But so far, for folks that are just now kind of checking in, describe the season that it has been.
Well, it's definitely been the strongest season that we've had so far at UAB, and I think this is the most talented team. Like, things are just starting to like piece together for us, and the girls, they've really bought into like the vision that we kind of set in place like when I got here and took over the program, and I feel like we're starting to like was the saying, like, eat the fruits of that.
Yeah.
So it's been exciting so far. And, this past weekend with all those records being set, I think everyone's just starting to see, like, oh, wow, like, we are that team, and, having that confidence being built.
And you're kind of highlighting, I know it's a team sport, but you do have your pairs and your ones, and we're going to be joined by Olivia and Jasmine in just a little bit. But what they have meant, and they're trying to do something historic if they already haven't done that.
Yeah. It's so exciting to see, and just watching how, like, the team's rallying behind them. They had a great start in the fall from winning a pairs championship and qualifying, earning a bid to qualify for the pairs championship in November. And, they've just been working hard since then. And each weekend they're just getting better, stronger, and, really leading our team from the front.
Limited number of scholarships and money. That seems to be, unfortunately, all that we're talking about right now with intercollegiate athletics. But with the NCAA and the Haas settlement and all of that, when that all shakes out, how could that benefit a program like yours?
Yeah, I think it can give us more opportunities to reward more players on our team. At first, we are limited with the amount of scholarships, only going to a certain number of girls on the team, and now we can kind of spread that out a little bit, and it feels good being able to reward players for doing well on and off the court, where we were a little limited before.
Where are you going? And you're looking all over for players, but take us through recruiting, because it does seem like you have junior events, you have all kinds of tournaments that are going on that maybe even people don't know about. But there's the game has grown and the interest has grown, and it's a lot of players just saying, well, okay, well, do I want to do this, or do I want to specialize and move over to beach? It's fascinating to watch just the growth of the sport. But where are you beginning on the recruiting trail? Where are you looking? I know that the transfer portal is always out there, but at the high school ranks and some of these junior tournaments, how do you go about that?
Yeah. The girls are getting better and better each year, and it's really cool to see, because even 5 years ago, 10 years ago, they weren't starting to play the sport like so young. So now, I would say after someone's freshman or sophomore year, they're already full committing to beach. And it's so exciting, because they're getting so much better. They're getting great quality training. And we have like different hubs, I feel like, that are good for UAB with beach. We're so close to Florida, so I have a lot of connections there, and a lot of players will want to go out of state but not too far. So I feel like we have a good little hub there, and they're playing beach all year round. We've got a New Orleans area little hub, and then like North Carolina. So kind of like a little bit of that southeast. But yeah, the girls are getting stronger and stronger, and I think that's why in our sport specifically, you're not just so reliant on the transfer portal. Maybe you're looking in there for some experience and leadership, but the talent is growing at the juniors level.
What are you looking for? Because we hear terms that football coaches will use. Well, twitch. That guy's got great twitch, or whatever the sport. What about beach volleyball? You're walking up. You haven't heard anything from connections you have. Maybe it's juniors coaches or high school coaches or other college coaches. You just go in. Do you know it when you see it, and what are you seeing?
I think one of the first things you're looking for is almost the athleticism in the sand. Like someone, if they can move well, if they can jump well, you're already kind of paying attention. And then there's just that physicality piece. Like if they're jumping high and hitting hard, you're going to stay on that court and pay attention. Because I think that's the thing that is really cool in our sport, is we're seeing a lot of potential of what that athlete could be, because we get a lot of athletes that are newer to the beach. But if you see someone who's maybe a new kid from indoor that just hopped out on the beach, but she jumps really well and she's fast, you're like, oh, like you'll see that potential and you'll want to take on that project, or she'll be on your radar, because the girls, they get so much better, like so fast.
And we have an appreciation, and you have it from playing the indoor game, and I think we all have. We've walked on the beaches of the Alabama Gulf Coast, which is beautiful. But you go and try in bare feet to stand in the sand and see how high that you can get to contest a ball over the net. It's stupid.
Yeah.
The athleticism is unparalleled. It really is. And the ground that they have to cover, and they have to work as a team. You have the pairs, and we'll get into some of that with the two student athletes who are going to be joining us with everybody always wants to know about the holding the hands and the fingers behind. What does all of that mean? And we'll get into some of that lingo. But for the program, you do have North Alabama coming up, right? Mm-hmm. And then we have the American Conference Championships. And right now you guys are vying for that spot. And hopefully by winning an American Conference Championship, we're going to see you as one of those teams that are participating there in the Nationals in Gulf Shores.
Yeah, it's exciting. We're at that final stretch, and I know the girls are hungry, and that they can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And we're just trying to keep going and keep showing up as our best at UAB Beach Volleyball. So
we're going to meet two of your star players, Delaney Rose, UAB Beach Volleyball coach. Congratulations and best of luck. Let's finish this thing strong, and hopefully not only will UAB be serving as the host site there in Gulf Shores for the NCAA National Championships, but hopefully also be a participating team.
Yes, thank you so much.
Coach, we appreciate it. The Inferno Podcast, we continue. Welcome back into the Inferno Podcast. Landrum Roberts, once again being joined by Delaney Rose, head beach volleyball coach of UAB. We're going to talk to two of our student athletes of the week, part of your one pairs, and that's why you guys at this point in the season, 18-10 and vying for a conference championship, Coach.
Yeah, we're so excited. Jazzy and Olivia have just been, a staple on Court 1 all season long. Jazzy's been holding down Court 1 since day one of her freshman year, and it's just been really cool to see the growth of this pair and how they are just leading our team, and they really are a little dynamic duo up there.
Jasmine, Haas, you're from Cincinnati. Olivia, Stant from Nolans. Did I say that? I just totally butchered that. I should have just said New Orleans. First of all, welcome to the Inferno Podcast, and it's great to have you. Congratulations on all the success. Let's start with you, Jasmine. You have a squirrel tattoo on your ankle. There's a story there.
Yes. So sophomore year of high school, I got into rescuing wildlife. It started finding a baby squirrel at my grandma's, and I took him in, and he ended up passing, but I realized that I wanted to start rescuing wildlife, and I found somebody actually through beach volleyball who does rescue, and I got in contact with her. I got a certificate, so I am able to rescue wildlife now, and I mostly do baby squirrels, and I'll raise them until they can be released. But I also do like possums and chipmunks. One time we had a groundhog, and just my love for animals is so big.
Olivia, she seems very nurturing. Does that help with having her as a partner there on the court?
Yeah, I mean...
She seems very motherly.
Yeah, she definitely has motherly aspects. Definitely takes me under her wing and just gives me a lot of advice on the court. I mean, she's been on Court 1 since the beginning, so she has been an awesome partner to me.
Are there any instances when you guys are going to train or you're going to practice and then Jasmine sees something and she says, oh, we have to go help it?
There's times. Definitely if there's like a lizard or something on it, like at her tent, she's like, I have to go grab it, and she'll grab it. And
let's be honest, we in your world, and not that it's not sad, but there is a chance that you could see just something horrific every time that you're out on the road.
Oh yeah, I like to close my eyes. Or
not while you're driving.
No, not while I'm driving. I'm usually passenger princess, so
okay.
She drives.
I drive.
You drive?
Yeah.
Yes, but like if my dad got nervous with me starting to drive because he knew I would get into a wreck before I hit a squirrel or any type of animal on the road, I would instantly burst to tears. So we had to be very careful about that. Or I just choose not to look. Or when people point it out, I'll yell at them and be like, why did you have to point that out to me? Because it'll break my heart.
This happened while I was playing golf just yesterday, and it was not a beaver. Would a woodchuck look like a really fat squirrel?
Potentially.
Potentially?
Yeah, potentially.
I know it wasn't a squirrel. It had to have been a woodchuck.
Oh yeah.
Do you rescue woodchucks too?
They're not very common where I'm from.
Okay.
So I have never seen one in person.
What about a snake? Would you rescue a snake?
Reptiles,
no.
That's a little different. Mm-hmm. There's some that I'm fond of.
You draw a line.
Yeah.
Some snakes or just some reptiles?
Snakes is a no for me. My mom hates snakes.
Okay.
But so I can never take one. I tried one time, but it was a little one. It was only like 5 inches long. It was not big. And I took it, and my mom got mad at me. But like after that, no more snakes. I don't see many reptiles, though. We don't have many reptiles from where I'm from.
Okay. Well, where you're from, Olivia, is Mardi Gras. And reading some of your bio, you and your family are really big into Mardi Gras.
Yes, I've actually been in a Mardi Gras parade. My family, there's so many different types of like parades, and so my grandfather was a king in the parade. My dad was a part of it.
What is a king? So break that down.
In each, they call them like crews. So each parade, so like we're in Toth, and there's like Endymion. There's so many different types. And so there's a king and a queen, and most of the time you have to like sign up for the queen when your like child's born. So none of my none of my sisters are.
When the child's born?
Yeah. So my parents signed up my sister when she was a kid.
So they have to register you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to compare it, but this is kind of like the AKC, like the American Kennel Club, when you get like a dog and you have to register the dog for the purposes of, wow. That's immediately what I'm thinking. That's just crazy. So you register, the parents register you when you're born.
Yes, to be queen, and then other positions can be later. But yeah. So, and my sister never did it because it's expensive and a lot of time. And so my sister never became queen. But yeah, to be queen, you have to sign up really early.
I don't understand it. My aunt and my uncle, they're involved. They live on the Alabama Gulf Coast, and it's really big down there. And then, of course, I don't want to get into the debate of Mobile versus New Orleans. What you kind of know what I'm talking about there, right?
For like the parades and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
Does Mobile, they claim that theirs is the OG, and New Orleans claims that theirs is?
Yeah, they both do. But, I mean, they both can be, I think, in my head. I don't know which one is the OG in all reality.
Has Jasmine brought you into the rescuing of animals, or are you thinking about pursuing that? And then vice versa, are you really into Mardi Gras now?
Ever since freshman year, she's been raving about it, and I see a shoe just in her room one time, and I asked her, where's the other one? And she was explaining to me how they throw shoes off of the parades. And ever since then, I'm like, 1 year, we have to go to Mardi Gras because I have to experience people throwing shoes off of a parade because I want one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
King cake, moon pies.
Oh, yes.
All that stuff. Let's talk about the teamwork and the communication and the kinship that you guys have to share on the court. It is a team sport, but you two are there on court one, and there's a lot of strategy that's involved. How important is it to have that relationship and describe it, because you're training, you're practicing, you're playing with each other? You start.
I think that we have been best friends since freshman year, so 3 years now, and that has really shown in our partnership and off the court as well. And having that bond like really makes us strong. We've talked about like not taking some things personally because we do really care about each other, and we love each other, and we don't get coach all the time. And we also don't get coach when we're out on the court. It's only us. So creating that bond between us and the bond that we already had before this partnership has been really strong for us, and I think has what made us excel during this season. What
about for you, Olivia?
Yeah, I mean, Jazzy is the strategic person in our partnership. Most of the time I get targeted. Every game I get targeted, and I'm happy about it. I'm okay with it. And Jazzy's with there, and she gives me what to do. And
you get targeted?
Yes.
What is that? So for the people that are just joining us, learning about your sport,
yeah.
What is targeted?
So basically they'll serve me the whole time. I will be in serve receive, and I will always hit the ball out of serve receive most of the time. And yeah.
I can add to this. I looked at the stats actually last night. And so just for the people out there, Olivia has had 533 hitting attempts, where Jazzy has had 157.
Good night.
Olivia is getting targeted 3 times more than her 5'3" partner.
And what's the strategy involved there for the other team that's targeting poor Olivia?
Well, it's different things. Jazzy is very versatile, and sometimes you don't want to run around with her shots, and then she can swing, and she really can do all these different things where it stresses other teams out, where sometimes they're like, okay, give me the big hitter because that little defender is going to stress me out with, I don't know where she's going to put the ball.
Would you rather chase a squirrel or chase the? Yes,
that's the question,
right?
100%.
So she's totally your squirrel out there on the sand.
The flying squirrel.
The flying squirrel.
I don't know if you've seen this girl jump, but between both of them, they just jump so high. And I mean, any team that plays them, it's like, who do you serve? And you just gotta handle whatever you choose.
What is it like coaching a pair like this?
It's really fun. Like, I've coached them. This is my 3rd season coaching with them, so it's we get to be we've grown a lot together. So the directness, the vulnerability, the trust that we have with them, because she mentioned, we have multiple courts play at a time. When we go to conference, we play 5 courts at a time, and we don't have 5 coaches. So a lot of time in our sport, there's we want to empower them to be able to coach themselves. So just trusting them in the strategy and how they see the game. And I know they're going to know what to do because we've been preparing them. Our sport is really interesting because in-game coaching is very limited. Like, as a coach, you can only talk to your pair when we switch sides, which is every 7 points, and during timeouts. So, like, in other sports where coaches can just kind of insert their voice and tell them to make a change, we have to they have to take on that role of not necessarily coach, but, it's them two together. And then the coach is just kind of like those extra eyes of what's happening. So being able to see the growth that they've had in that aspect, you've got some players that are like, where's coach? And they handle it. They can handle the pressure. They are playing at such a high level, and it's really fun to be able to be with them.
What drew you guys to the beach game as opposed to the indoor game? Because I have friends whose children they're playing and they're coming up in some of these, whether it's a club team or whatever, and I tell them about the beach game and it being more specialized and it seems like, not that the indoor game isn't there and isn't strong, but it seems like there continues to be this groundswell of just people wanting to be involved. First of all, playing beach volleyball in a lot of the settings, it's laid back. It's kind of a chill vibe. There's a lot of competitiveness, but it's a cool scene as opposed to maybe being inside of a gym all day. What led you to beach?
So I have always done beach. My parents did a little bit of leagues when they were younger. I think what really drew me to beach is that I can do everything. And a lot of people for indoor, they focus on height. I don't have that. But I'm also a major ball hog. And I was like, I want to do the sport where I can touch the ball the most. Because if I'm not touching the ball the most, I'm going to get frustrated.
At least you're honest about it.
Yes. So I love just to touch the ball. And I think beach, having to be so versatile and be an all-around player is what makes it so special. And that's what really drew me to this game. And being able to have the brains behind the match, too. Because I really can only depend on me and my partner when I'm out on that court. And between the both of us, having the strategic game, I think of beach volleyball as in playing chess against the other team. Because any day, any team can win. It's just who can outsmart the other player, because we all have the same skills, the same aspects. But whoever can win the game of chess better is the winner.
All right, we heard from Jasmine. What about you, Olivia?
I was actually mainly an indoor volleyball player until when COVID hit, all the gyms were closed, so I just started playing beach volleyball because beach volleyball was so small in New Orleans at the time. And so I just started going out around April, May, every day. And I just really fell in love with it. I loved being outdoors. And it just combined, I could do everything. I could pass, I could set, I can hit. And during that summer, I started traveling to go play in tournaments, and I just fell more in love with it. And I started growing so fast that I was like, maybe this is something I can do in college, So I started reaching out to coaches and kind of just kept going from there.
What are some drills for people that are watching? Drills, because moving on sand and trying to move where you want to move as quickly as you want to move, that can be challenging. Of course, up at the net, are there certain drills that people can do just agility wise to maybe help them in the development of their game?
Yeah, the first drill that comes to mind is a drill called the star drill.
I can tell these two hate the star drill, don't they?
And with the star drill, it's, there's no ball, so it's just straight conditioning. We have to do a lot of conditioning in our sport, as you might think. It's a big endurance sport.
You look like a long-distance runner. You run a lot, don't you?
No, only in the sand.
Only in the sand. Okay,
sand.
but
no
keep
impact,
going.
doesn't hurt the knees. But yeah, with the star drill, basically you're on one side of the court, and there's a cone in the middle, and then there's like 8 points that are just around the edges of the court, and you just have to start at the middle, run to the one cone, run back, go to the next cone, come back, and you have to do it in like 25 seconds. So we do that a couple times for conditioning, and they just love that one. It's change of direction, It's a great drill. Do
you two have another name for the star drill? Is there something that you've come up with? That's okay if it's not appropriate.
So we do call it the star drill,
okay.
But there was one day last year where we did it a lot, and then we had to run afterwards, and we call it that Monday. So whenever we refer to that Monday, we all know what we're talking about, because that is the day that we were on the ground on our hands and knees afterwards.
Ooh, yeah. There's other things that come to mind. For people who don't like sand, you have to mitigate for wind, you have to mitigate for sun, and then there's the sand. First of all, if you kind of get over the sand aspect of it, right? Because everybody wants to get all the sand off of them. You guys, you're perspiring. You've got sand in your eyes, in your ears, all of that. How quickly do you get over that as a beach volleyball player? These are just questions that I've always wondered and I've never asked, and I thought I had the opportunity to.
Yeah, I mean, there's sand everywhere, in my car, in my house, everywhere. And you just kind of get used to it. It doesn't bother you at some point. I mean, I'm always dripping in sweat. So I'm like, this is just what I'm used to. And yeah, I mean, some people are like, I hate having sand like on my legs and stuff. And I'm like, I'll roll around in it. Like, I'm okay with it.
You're okay with it. You've grown to love it anyways.
Yeah, I'm always rolling in the sand. As a defender, I'm always diving all over the place. There's always sand in my hair, sand in my ears. It's just something you got to get used to. It did not take me long, a week, most.
Do you have a preference on type of sand? Because we have, the sand here is much different than the sand, of course, you're going to get in Hawaii, the sand that you're going to get at some of these other places. Is there a difference? Is there a preference for you two?
I like our sand the best. I like Gulf Shore sand, especially. The sand in the West Coast, we call it deep sand, and it feels like you're sinking. Like every step you take, it takes you a second longer to step because it feels like it's just giving out from under you. The sand we have here, it's a little combination of both. We call it jumper sand. It's a little bit more compact, and it helps me jump higher, move faster. But we went out to Arizona State, and that was the deepest sand that we've ever played in. And that was definitely tough. It made me have to think about my game and strategize, like, what I will do best in that sand because certain skills were taken away because of it.
Yeah. Well, and not only sand, and I mentioned sun, and we know that you have to deal with that, but wind. When we think about the power, the velocity of that volleyball that's coming off your hand, that's coming off your hand, and then you get a 20-mile-an-hour gust behind it, I've seen players concussed. I've seen Oakleys broken. It's wild for people who don't think about those things that you deal with. Anything crazy like that happen to you guys in your careers?
I mean, there's times when, like, the wind is so strong and you go into approach and the ball just goes behind you and you're just like, it's already gone. Like, you just have to really always think about the wind while you're playing, at between every point.
Yeah, there's been times that I've tried to topspin in the wind and I've served under the net or the next court over. There was one recently that Liv had at Coastal where I set her a ball and at the last minute, it gusted behind her, completely missed. So sometimes it does not look like we're D1 athletes, but I promise you it's just the wind.
Okay, when there's setup, you're holding up 2 fingers, 1 fingers. Tell us, everybody, what that denotes for the people who don't know.
Yeah.
When you're doing hand signals.
When you put up a 1, that means the blocker is going to be blocking the line. So I will be lining up on the line of the court, and then Jazzy will be in the ankle. And then a 2 is when I'll be blocking ankle, and Jazzy will move to the line. And then there's also other numbers. There's 3s and 4s we do, which is more like just a trick play of 1s and 2s.
Currently, you guys are number 5 in the country, I think, in pairs, and you're having an incredible season. What's the ultimate end goal for this season, not only for you two, but for the team?
For the team, we've set this goal in the fall, and I continue to strive for this goal, and it's to win conference. We have never won conference, and we've never gone to the NCAA championship, and that is a really big goal for us. And our record is great. I love our record, but the record that matters most is the team's record.
23-5 on this season.
Correct.
By the way.
Correct. As a team, we are 18-10, and that is the record that matters most because we want to have that good seeding going into conference. And that winning as a team is most important because that's what's going to keep us moving on. So we're going to continue to keep working hard and getting those wins on our court and having the trust in our other courts to also pull out some wins so we can go and win conference.
Olivia, echo everything that...
Yeah, I mean, we want to win conference. That's the big goal. We always strive to, as a team, beat our past record. So just continuing to win. If we win these next few games, we beat our team record, which is, I think, 19. So, playing as one is going to be the goal. That's how we'll win conference.
Coach, anything you want to add to that?
Oh, it was just cool to hear them because, like you said, they do have all the accolades, which is so awesome because playing at the ones, you're playing the best competition in the country, like every single weekend. And it is so impressive what they've done together on that court and the level that they've been playing at. But at the end of the day, they said it right. It's such a weird sport because it's a team within a team. So all the pairs records are great, but you can have pairs that win and go on and, and then our team falters. So I love that, that's our mindset on our team is it's team first. And that's how we're going to reach our goals. Like if we're reaching our goals as a team, we're reaching our goals as individuals and pairs.
All right, Coach. Olivia and Jasmine, they're going to hang out for something we call the lightning round, but we appreciate you joining us and congratulations on just an outstanding job of leading the UAB Beach program and continued success. And fingers crossed, let's win a conference championship and let's get down to Gulf Shores.
Thank you so much. Go Blazers.
The Inferno Podcast lightning round coming up next. Welcome back into the Inferno Podcast. Landrum Roberts along with the star duo for UAB Beach Volleyball, Jasmine Haas and Olivia Stant joining us. It's time for the lightning round. It's just some rapid fire questions, but sometimes there's follow-ups and things that it's just a better way for us to get to know you. Not that you haven't already told us enough. We know that you rescue all wildlife except for snakes and that you were born into a Mardi Gras lineage of greatness.
Yeah.
Does that pretty much sum it all up?
Yeah.
All right, start the clock. It's time for the lightning round. Here we go. Who wants to start first?
I can
got
go.
it.
You got it?
You got it.
Okay, I got it.
That's great. The communication there. Oh, you were trying to give that's teamwork. You guys really care about each other. Go to game day snack.
Go-Go Squeeze.
What is Go-Go Squeeze?
They're like applesauce.
Oh,
Yeah.
applesauce?
Yeah, like a little squeezable applesauce. Yeah.
Okay.
Bananas or pickles?
Bananas or pickles? I like pickles. Yeah, pickles
Pickle
are good.
juice.
Pickle juice? Does that help with not cramping up?
It does.
It really does.
It does, yes.
I just like pickles.
I
I ate
love
2
pickles,
Clausens
too.
last night. Do you like Clausen? Do you like the kind that come in the refrigerator, or do you go with the kind that's just on the condiment aisle?
The one in the jars. Whatever Coach gets us, because Coach gets us the big jars.
The big jars of the
Oh,
pickles?
yeah. Yes.
What about Slim Jims?
I love Slim Jims too.
Slim Jims?
Yes.
Because pickles and Slim Jims, I see those in Coach Dilfer in the locker room at halftime for UAB. And those are two go-to snacks. I don't like sweets, so the applesauce didn't do it for me, but you had me at pickles.
Love pickles.
And bananas.
Yes.
Okay. Pre-game ritual. I don't want to name any other sports, but are you guys as quirky as softball and baseball?
Can you give an example?
Just the things that they do. There's the dugout routines. If they're trying to put together a rally, if they're having a big inning, I don't know. Is there anything in particular you two or your team does prior to a duel?
Usually, if we're traveling on a bus or if we're even our home, we'll listen to music in the locker room or on the bus and just jam out and get ready for game day. And then we'll also in our huddle with our team, we do gratitude. So we just say what we're grateful for that day.
We also do before every, I won't say every match, but before every weekend, we will write letters to each other just to show our belief in each other and our faith in each other and really give you that confidence boost going into the games.
That's really awesome. Hobby outside of beach volleyball that you participate in the most when you're not rescuing?
Crocheting.
Crochet?
I love to crochet. So many blankets, so many stuffed animals. I've got so many orders from friends that they want their stuffed animals. So yeah, those are my go-to gifts.
I like to read or I like to go on walks.
Reading or walks. Has she crocheted you anything?
She has.
What did she crochet you?
She crocheted me 2 turtles I put in my car. They're little blue ones, that big. And then I also have a little chick over my rearview mirror.
Where did you start crocheting?
I learned my freshman year of high school. I don't sit still, so I always need to do something. I just learned through YouTube videos, and it's really stuck with me ever since.
So reading, walking, and then crocheting. That's fascinating. This is why we do the lightning round. If you had to watch a TV show or a movie for the rest of the year, what would it be? And then just that show.
Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah. I can watch that on repeat all the time. It's my background show. If I'm doing homework, if it helps me stay focused somehow.
Okay.
I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, but Naruto.
Huh?
Naruto? Oh, yeah.
What is Naruto?
It's an anime show. And I've never said that out loud to anybody besides Liv before. It's my guilty pleasure, watching anime.
Anime?
Yeah.
And you could watch that for the rest of the year?
I could watch that for the rest of the year. It's also 400, 500 episodes long, so.
Well, so you get variation.
Oh, I would get a lot of variation.
What? How do you pronounce it again?
Naruto.
Naruto?
No, sorry, Naruto.
Naruto?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to write that down.
Oh, gosh.
I'm going to see what you're watching.
Oh, no.
Who is someone you admire or take inspiration from?
This girl from my high school, she got National Gary Player of the Year years ago. Her name's Ellie Holzman. She played at University of Illinois. She was just a really great leader and was very vulnerable with our team in high school, and I just strive to be like her every day. I still keep in contact with her. She's awesome.
I look up to Kristen Ness a lot. She is one of the smallest pro volleyball athletes out there. And with me being at my height, watching somebody around the same height as me just really strive and have all of that success just through hard work and determination, I look up to that so much, and I hope that I can reflect that through my gameplay.
You're from New Orleans. Etouffee or jambalaya?
Jambalaya.
Jambalaya?
Yeah.
Skyline chili, yay or nay?
Absolutely.
Do it over the noodles?
Yes, but I like cheese conies more.
Cheese conies?
Yes.
So that's the hot dog?
Yes.
Okay, with the chili on. Okay.
With the cheese and the chili.
Yeah. Skyline chili, does it have cinnamon in it?
I believe so.
It's got to have a hint of cinnamon. It's a little bit different.
Yes.
I like it.
Oh, good.
No, it's really good. You can find it here locally in a can too.
Yeah, but that's not the same.
Well, it's not the same, but I don't want to go to the trouble of making the Skyline chili. It's just every now and then. You like going on the road or playing at the home complex?
playing at the home courts
Yeah.
for sure.
Home courts for sure.
But you guys get to go and play at some really cool venues.
We do, but nothing beats the Blazer support system.
No. And absolutely agree. What was the traveling on the road, though, the coolest venue that you've played in this season?
I really liked playing at, it was Pompano Beach. It was like technically FAU's courts. It was just like right on the beach. It was beautiful.
I would have to agree with that. We don't really get to play on the beach that often, which is a little surprising.
But that's the goal this year, right?
Yes. And playing on the beach, it's just the best atmosphere.
Favorite memory? Just if you want to go favorite volleyball memory, beach volleyball, either from this season, growing up, watching the game, getting to know the game.
My favorite memory was from freshman year when we beat FIU in conference and we all dogpiled. It was the best feeling ever because, like, we weren't supposed to beat them. We were the underdogs and we came in and our team won. It was awesome.
I would agree that's one of my favorites. Another favorite I had was actually after a game that I actually choked in my freshman year and I was very upset. But afterwards, the whole team put me into a team hug. And that was like the first time I knew I really bonded with this team. And that from there on out, I was going to play for them. And it was not going to happen again.
If you didn't play beach volleyball, what other sport would you play? And don't say indoor.
I loved track and field in high school. I did a little bit of that.
I have a few. I used to pole vault. I did gymnastics for a long, long time. And I dove in high school.
You're a diver too?
Yes.
She's not right.
She did
I
everything.
can't sit still.
In a
I
good
really
way.
can't.
In a good way. But I had a biology teacher who was a former swimmer, and he's a swim coach, and he said that no, this is horrible, but divers were swimmers that had lost all their brain cells.
Oh, I would come home with bruises on my forehead a lot. I'm not saying I'm a great swimmer, but I can dive.
Would you platform dive?
No, I did mostly 1 meter.
Okay.
I was forced to go on 3 meters sometimes, but I did mostly 1 meter.
The people who get up there on the platforms,
They're
and
crazy.
they are crazy.
Yeah.
So he was right about that.
Yes, I have a
You
friend
gotta
at West Virginia.
have something just to tick off,
Oh, yes.
or you want something bad to happen to yourself.
Yes, I don't know who would do that to
You
themselves.
you land in the pool wrong. That could be lights out, game over, right?
It could be. You can get concussed even off a 1 meter.
Well, so how if I go to the lake this summer and I'm
Yes.
going to jump off the 1 meter, whatever, it might be a bridge, it might be a pier. How do I keep the water from making it feel like somebody just hit me with a sledgehammer when I enter the water on a dive?
So you put your hands flat, and you actually put one hand, and then you grab with the other hand. You put it flat.
You're displacing that water.
Yes, you displace the water with your hands flat, and then you actually want to have your head tucked. You only want to be looking with your eyes because you don't want to go in face first because that's more surface area right there. So you'd want to go hands first. You definitely want your hands together and flat to break the surface of the water, and then everything else is smooth.
See, you could be a diving coach. I have more confidence right now. I can go and try it. Jasmine, Haas, Olivia, Stant, congratulations, continued success, and hopefully we're going to see the Blazers down on the sand and Gulf Shores after the conference championships, and you guys go and you win that thing, right?
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
The Inferno Podcast, we continue.
As UAB athletes, there's nothing we like more than the Lord of Crowd.
Around here, we say we win as one.
One.
And to keep cheering for the green and gold.
There's one thing we need from you.
Ask your doctor about an RSV vaccine.
And help protect everyone. Our littlest Blazers and our most seasoned fans are most at risk from RSV.
Ask about your RSV vaccine today.
So we can all stay in the game.
And win as one.
Welcome back into the Inferno Podcast. Landrum Roberts, it's time for our weekly update brought to you by the Alabama Department of Public Health to help protect all UAB fans. Ask your doctor about your RSV vaccine today so we can all win as one. We already know about the UAB Beach Volleyball program and what they have coming up, but other sports around the South Side and what's going on. UAB softball, they win another series last weekend. They take 2 out of 3 from UTSA. They're going to take on North Texas in Denton coming up Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, with this being Easter weekend. Thursday, the first pitch is at 6 o'clock, Friday at 6 o'clock, and then Saturday wrapping up at noon. Good luck to Coach T. Smart and the Blazers. UAB Baseball hosting East Carolina this Thursday. You can find them 5 p.m. the first pitch, Friday at 5, and then Saturday at 1 o'clock, as UAB right there in the middle of their conference season in the American, and Coach Casey Dunn and the Blazers continuing to plug away. Men's golf AAC Championship coming up next Monday. That will take place there in Sarasota, Florida. And men's tennis, the AAC Championships coming up Thursday, April 17th as well. For comprehensive schedules and anything else you need to know UAB, go to uabsports.com. This is the Inferno Podcast, the official podcast of UAB Athletics. Blazer fans, this is the place each week to get an inside look into UAB Athletics. This episode of the Inferno Podcast is brought to you by the Alabama Department of Public Health and Pearl River Resort.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio.